Good morning, LPES, and happy first Friday feeling of the new year of 2023. It has been such a great week being back with each and every one of you, getting to see your faces again, getting to hear about your breaks, getting to get back into our regular routine of school. There's always something really nice about coming back in January feeling a little bit refreshed, hopefully. Feeling a little bit more familiar with what we're walking into since we've all been through part of the school year together so far. So to kind of kick things off today, I'm going to be doing one of our mindful morning cards. So let me just grab one from over here. I know we didn't do one the week before break because if you tuned in the week before break, we went around instead and got to hear about all the different ways that our teachers and our staff members were going to try and stay stress-free over holiday break. I hope that you, and I certainly hope that they, managed to actually make that happen by doing all those fun things that they talked about. So let's see, our card that we are going to be picking today is totally random. Let's hope it's a good one. Oh, this is one that we've done on Friday Feelings before, and I think it's one that we'll do at the end of our lesson today, at the end of our Friday Feeling together. So you can read it right here. It says, do a body scan check-in to see how each part of your body feels. So we've done these together before. Sometimes I like to talk about them almost like a laser beam going down our bodies, or a lightsaber, if you want to think of it that way, or like an x-ray machine from the tip top of your head all the way down to your toes. I'm going to leave this out on my desk as a reminder for myself to do that again before we sign off for the day today. So friends, as you come back from the holiday break, and as we're getting really settled into the new year, a lot of times when we come back from break, or maybe even at home with your family members or your parents, you may have been talking about your goals for the year. A lot of people like to set goals for themselves, or sometimes we hear the term New Year's resolutions. It's a popular one for grown-ups too, I think, where we come up with these things that we want to try and do better, or new things that we want to try and incorporate into our lives starting in the new year. It's a really common thing when we get to this time of year in January. So I am going to be challenging you today to think of a goal for yourself. Now, a goal is typically something that we want to improve, something we want to get better at, or something, like I said, we want to start to try doing. So maybe a goal for you is something you haven't even done before. Maybe a goal for you is to try a new sport this year. Maybe you're signing up for something in the spring that you're feeling nervous or excited about. Maybe a goal for you is to get better at something you already do. So maybe my third and fourth graders, for you, a goal might be mastering those different multiplication times tables. You know, even if it's something we've done before, even if it's something you learned last year, really making sure that we're really solid and sturdy on those so that we can build our knowledge on them. Goals can be long-term or short-term. So I know we have kindergartners watching this video who might be saying to themselves, what is a long-term goal or a short-term goal? What does that even mean, Mrs. Heffler? So short-term goals might be things like that are going to happen in the very near future, or things that we want to work on that are only going to take a short amount of time for us to master, or for us to do. A long-term goal is something that's going to take us a much longer time, or it might even be a goal that we can never achieve perfectly. It might just be something that we're working on or working towards, really, as we continue to grow up and continue our lives. So as you're watching this video today, and I'm sure many of you probably already did something like this in class this week, I want you to think about what a goal for yourself might be this year. Now, here's the important thing. The neat thing about our lives is we have so many different aspects or parts of them. So a goal for yourself might be something having to do social with your friends. Maybe you want to be better at communicating with your friends. Maybe you want to be better at talking to your friends when there's a problem instead of having drama or there being an issue between you. Maybe you want to make new friends. That could be a goal also. Maybe you feel like you don't have a ton of friends and you want to put yourself out there a little bit more. You want to talk to some other kids in your class. Another goal could be academics, right? We're in school, so we're talking a lot about learning, and academics are all the things that we cover in school. So it could be math, reading, science, social studies, music, gym, art, whatever it might be. So we can try and focus on our academics and trying to get better at a certain piece of that, or trying to improve our grades or our study habits. Speaking of study habits, another thing that we could have a goal for would be what we do in our lives every single day. So different habits or hobbies that we have. So maybe you want to start a new habit of going to sleep a little bit earlier, or I would love this goal for each and every one of you if I could make it happen, maybe not having screen time right before you go to sleep, because that's going to really interfere with our sleep. It's going to make us groggy in the morning. It's going to make it so that we're not as ready to learn when we come to school. Maybe a goal for yourself might be to take some more deep breaths in the morning before you're really getting your day started, or to try and do something like a body scan when you're feeling frustrated or angry, those uncomfortable emotions that we've talked about on here before. Whatever your goal or goals are, sometimes it helps us to write them down. If we're in kindergarten, you might not be able to write them down just yet, but you could always have a grown-up to help you write them down at home, or you could draw them yourself. But these should be things that we can measure, things that we can kind of follow and check in on and continue to work on throughout a certain amount of time or throughout our lives, as I said. Something we want to just kind of make a part of our everyday life. So I hope that each and every one of you is starting to think about some goals that you might have, some things that maybe you want to get better at. Today, we're going to do a mindful moment all on setting a goal. And we're actually going to do some deep breathing with this. And I'm going to kind of talk you through this meditation, this mindfulness moment. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get yourself settled nice and calmly. Make sure we're sitting up nice and tall. Our backs are straight. They can be leaning against the back of your chair, but we're certainly not slumped over or hunched over. We're not leaning on our desk. Sitting up nice and tall. Your hands can be resting in your lap. They can be down at your side. They can be resting on your desk. And your feet should be either touching the floor or dangling off the chair if they can't quite reach. And let's start by taking just a few deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. As you do that, pay attention to what it does to your body. I know, for myself, even just recording this Friday feeling, sometimes I get a little nervous. And just taking that one single breath, I felt my heart calm itself down a little bit. Let's do that again together. Taking another deep breath in and out. Do one more with me. Inhale and exhale. And on this next one, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes as we breathe in and breathe out. So you can go ahead, close your eyes to kind of tune out the rest of the world. Tune out all those other things that are happening around you. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, as always, you can just find a spot that you can kind of rest your eyes on right ahead of you, right in front of you. And I just want you to follow the things I'm saying, listening to my voice, and trying to think about all the things that we're going to be working on together today. So today, we are going to be focusing on setting and accomplishing a goal. It can be a goal for today. It can be a goal for this month or this week. Whatever it is, I want you to go ahead and think about that goal as we're starting to figure it out. And take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take some time to think about what you would like to accomplish, what you would like that goal to be. It can be a goal for yourself at home or at school, or it can be somewhere else entirely. Keep those nice deep breaths going as we're trying to picture what that goal could be. It can involve someone else in your life, or it can be a goal just for you. All right. As your eyes are closed, visually in your mind, try to imagine yourself accomplishing that goal, whatever it might be. Try to picture yourself getting better or accomplishing whatever task it is that you're kind of putting ahead of yourself. What would that look like? Who would be there with you? These are all the questions we're just answering quietly in our mind. How would you be feeling once you accomplish that goal? Focus especially on how you would be feeling. Really try to focus all of your energy on what that would be like, what that sensation would feel like. Now, take a few minutes to think about what you need to do in order to accomplish this goal. What steps would you need to take to get it done? And as we continue to sit here together, just kind of being mindful, trying to clear our mind of anything else except for this goal, I want you to turn your attention to your breathing. And what I want you to do at your own pace is to just focus on counting your breaths. We've done this 1 or 2 times before. Again, your eyes can remain closed if you're comfortable. If not, just find that point to keep your eyes rested on. As you breathe in, you count that as 1. As you breathe out, you count that as 2. Breathing in is 3. Breathing out would be 4. You're only going to go up to 10, and then you're going to start counting again. So just take a few minutes and do that with me here, counting our breaths as we breathe in and out. If your mind starts to wander or think about other things, that's okay. Just try to bring it gently back to counting those breaths. Breathing in, focusing on where you feel the air in your body, and breathing out. All right, friends, go ahead, take one more deep breath in. And if you haven't done so already, you can go ahead and open your eyes. All right. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more calm and relaxed, ready to start your day together. I have for you today something else that I wanted to share and show to you. As we're talking about goals for this year, some terms that we might hear when we talk about goals are perseverance, which means not giving up. If we want to accomplish a goal, we have to persevere. If our goal is to learn how to do a round off back handspring, then you are going to need to persevere to practice those skills that are going to make you able to accomplish whatever the goal is. So perseverance is a big one. Persevering or perseverance means not giving up, not quitting just because things are starting to get hard. Another term we might hear is grit, and that's the same idea. Having grit means that you don't give up even when things get tough. You keep going. Even when there's a challenge or a roadblock ahead of you, you don't just throw in the towel and quit. You keep going and trying your best. So we have perseverance, we have grit. Sometimes your teachers might talk to you about growth mindset, or I might talk to you about it, or you might hear it on Friday Feelings. Growth mindset is encouraging ourselves, reminding ourselves that our brains are constantly growing. And sometimes growing isn't always comfortable. Sometimes growing can be tough, but we don't give up. We keep going. I wanted to share with you today a story all about a girl who did just that. This is one of my favorite books. I've read it in the past couple of years. I don't think I've done it on a Friday Feeling, though. I think I've only done it in a few lessons. So I'm going to have it read aloud to you right now. It's not read by myself, but that's kind of nice. We'll get to switch it up a little bit. So I hope that you enjoy the book Rosie Revere Engineer. Here it is.
Hi, welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Leah Michelle, and I'm here today to read Rosie Revere Engineer. It is written by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud. But Fred slapped his knee, and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed, and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. "I love it," Fred hooted. "Oh, truly I do." But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day. Her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who'd worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. "The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams." That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky, and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never! Not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear. And never will I be a great engineer." She turned round to leave, but then great-great-aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed. That is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next." She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. What I love the most about this book is its message that as long as you try, you will never fail. Rosie is so creative, and she teaches us to dream big and to never give up. Thank you so much for watching Storyline Online. Make sure to check out all of our stories. Keep watching and keep reading.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that book. I love it so much because even when Rosie Revere Engineer, when her designs are failing, when they're not working, when her inventions are a big flop, she doesn't just give up. She keeps going, she keeps trying, and it's only in having those things fail that she's able to find success, that she's able to figure out another way of doing something or another way of creating something that is going to work or be successful. It's thinking outside of the box. So I love that video for this New Year's Friday feeling for us to do. You may have remembered at the beginning of our Friday feeling, I drew this card, which is do a body scan check-in. And I do want to do this with you. However, we're running a little bit short on time, and we did so much of our mindfulness meditation earlier. I'm going to save this for next week. So it's kind of nice because then I'll have something for us to look forward to. We'll have something for us to start with together next week before I draw the next mindful morning card. All right, LPES. That being said, I hope that you have some wonderful goals set out for yourselves for this week or for the coming weeks or for the coming year. And I look forward to seeing you all back here next week, next Friday. Until then, stay kind, LPES.